Welcome everyone to our step-by-step guide to the home buying process. And I am so excited to have you here. Buying your first home can feel very intimidating, but today my goal is to walk you through the process in a simple, stress-free way so you know exactly what to expect and can move forward with confidence. So my name, as you know, is Ara Fatamani, and I am a licensed realtor, and I have also been an investor in real estate for the past 10 years. And you can always reach me at the number on the screen and save my number if you have any questions after today's session. I obviously won't be able to answer calls right now this second when I am going through this seminar with you, but I will share a link at the end of the webinar where you can scan the code and book a call with me so that we can discuss your situation in depth and get you the help that you need. So the workshop is meant to empower you with the right knowledge and tools so that when it is time to say yes to your dream home, you'll feel ready and confident. So let's be real. If you haven't started your home search yet, you're not alone. Most first-time buyers often feel unsure where to start or think that the process is just too overwhelming for them. So some worry about choosing the wrong agent or making a mistake buying a home. And that's exactly why I'm here to take away that confusion and make this process as clear and manageable for you. So my goal today is very simple. It's to give you knowledge, tools, and confidence to start your home buying journey with peace of mind. So by the end of this presentation, you will understand every step from pre-approval to closing day so that there are no surprises along the way. And that rhymes, closing day and way. That was not intentional. So now let's talk about one of the biggest questions buyers face. Should you buy a new construction or a pre-owned home? We will look at the pros and cons of each right now, and I'll share with you what to expect with home warranties as well. Both options have their perks, and it just depends on what's important to you, whether that's the customization, price, or the location. So let's start with the new constructions first. The biggest advantage is that everything is brand new. You're the first to live there, new appliances, new roof, new plumbing, and that means fewer repairs in the first few years. You also get to customize a lot of things like flooring, cabinets, countertops, paint colors, so that your home can really truly reflect your style. Builders usually include a home warranty, which covers things like structure, foundation, and systems for the first year or more. That gives a lot of peace of mind. On the flip side, new builds are usually a bit more expensive, and sometimes you'll have to wait a few months for the construction to be complete. Also, many new communities are still developing, so it may take time for schools, grocery stores, and amenities to be nearby. Now let's talk about pre-owned homes or resale homes. With these, you can see what you get. You can walk through and immediately picture how your furniture fits or whether you like the neighborhood vibe. Pre-owned homes are often in established areas, which means mature trees, schools, parks, sometimes even lower tax rates than brand new communities. They can also offer more character, things like crown molding, bigger yards, or unique layouts you don't always find in new construction. So the trade-off is that older homes might need some maintenance or updates, maybe an older roof, an HVAC system that's 10 years old, or a kitchen that could use a facelift. But the good thing is, during inspection, you'll get a clear idea of what you're working with. And we can often negotiate repairs or seller credits to help offset those costs. So really, there's no wrong answer. It just depends on your priorities. If you want something move-in ready, low maintenance, and modern, new construction might be best. But if you care more about location, charm, budget, flexibility, then a pre-owned home could be a better fit for you. And no matter which route you take, I'll guide you through what to look for, how warranties work, and how to protect your investment. The first official step in buying a home is now getting pre-approval. This is where you consult with a lender to understand your true buying power, because online mortgage calculators aren't always accurate. You complete a loan application and gather your financial documents. Once you're pre-approved, you'll get a letter, and that's your green light to start house hunting. A lot of people ask me why this is so important and why I require this before I show a house to you. And the reason for that is you might think that you will get approved for a $600,000 loan. Or maybe the houses that you've been browsing are around that price range. But after looking at your financial situation, or maybe your W-2s or your income or your tax returns, the loan officer determines that you only qualify for a loan for up to $400,000. Now that is going to save you so much time because you're not going to waste your time looking at homes that don't fit your budget anymore. That's why it's so important to get pre-approved. Next, we'll define what you're looking for, so the number of bedrooms, school districts, and I'll help you set up personalized home search as well. When we find the one, I'll negotiate the offer for you, and once your offer is accepted, you'll put down earnest money and enter the option period, usually within 3 days. This is when inspections happen. They're key for understanding the property and sometimes even renegotiating the price. So let me talk a little bit more about this. What is earnest money? This is the amount that you're putting as a deposit, basically, and it goes towards your purchase price that is not refundable unless something falls through on that's out of your control. So for example, you put down on a $300,000 house, let's say you're putting down $3,000 in earnest money, which the seller has accepted, right? And for whatever reason, 10 days later, you have cold feet and you want to back out. Well, you will lose that deposit at $3,000 if you have cold feet and you want to back out. But at least you're not going to be stuck with a home that you no longer want, right? Now, the seller gets to keep that basically as for spending that time for holding that home for you. Now, let's say that after you deposit your earnest money, you entered the option period, which is, let's say, 10 days, just for example. And in those 10 days, you call an inspector and they inspect the property for you, and you find out that you need a new HVAC or that the foundation has problems, and it's going to cost you all of a sudden $20,000 now to fix this home, which was not initially what you had accounted for. Then you have the option to back out of the offer and get your earnest money back, as long as it was listed in the contract that you have an option period. And what is the penalty for that, right? So oftentimes you can say you want an option period of 5 days for at a price of $200 or at $0 or whatever, and the seller has to agree to that before you are even under contract. So we can definitely discuss more on those two terms if you have any questions when we have a call, but I just wanted to explain what those two terms are, as they're pretty important. So let's go ahead and move on to step 3. Let's say that you are under contract, so then the mortgage process officially begins. Your lender will lock in your interest rate and you order the appraisal for you, and I'll go over that in a second, what is that, and request any extra documents. So the title company opens the title and a property survey is ordered. Then your file goes to underwriting, where they review everything before giving conditional approval. So this is a lengthy process. Typically, it can take anywhere from 20 to 45 days. And it's always recommended to have your documents ready before this process starts. So that the loan officer can get in details with you. We'll have another session with the loan officer soon so that they can go over this process with you further. But this is just a gist of what that is. Now, step 4, the appraisal. The appraisal verifies the current market value of the property. So you might have questions like, what's an appraisal? How much does it cost? Why is it necessary? And it is required by the lender before they can approve the loan. So it usually costs a few $100s. And if the value comes in low, then it can actually help you renegotiate. And it's one of the behind the scenes steps that really, really protects you and the bank. So let me go ahead and dive a little bit more into this appraisal, right? So your offer has been accepted, inspections are done, and the lender is going to order this appraisal. And this appraisal is a professional assessment of your home, and what it's actually worth in today's market. Okay, so the lender hires a licensed appraiser, and that appraiser is not connected to the seller or to us. And they come and visit the property. They take photos, they measure the square footage, and they compare it to recent sales or similar homes in the same area. These are often called comps or comparables. And the reason the lender requires this appraisal is very simple. They want to make sure that they're not lending more money than what the home is worth. So remember, the house acts as a collateral for the loan. So if, for example, you're buying a house for $400,000, but the appraiser comes back and says, it's only $380,000. The bank will only lend based on the $380,000 value. And that is protecting both you and the lender from overpaying. So let's talk about the cost. And it could cost anywhere from $500 to $700 depending on the size and the location of the property. And it's a very standard part of your closing cost. And the lender typically orders it once your inspection and option period are complete. So sometimes what happens is that, like I said, if the value comes in low, that's not exactly bad news. It actually gives you an opportunity to renegotiate with the seller. Either you can ask them to lower the price or split the difference, or in some cases, even having the seller make up for it with concessions, right? So I will help you through all of that if when time comes. And if it comes in high, the evaluation of the appraiser, then even better. That means that you're already walking into your new home with built-in equity. So while the appraisal might feel like behind the scenes step, it's one of the most important safeguards in the process, and it ensures that you're paying a fair price for your new home and gives your lender confidence that their investment and yours is also protected. Step 5. After the appraisal, your lender collects any final documents like proof of owner's insurance and sends everything to underwriting. Once the underwriter clears the file, you get what's called the clear to close. The magic words every buyer wants to hear. The lender and the title company then balance the closing statement and send wire instructions for your final funds. Before the closing day, we'll do a final walkthrough. So this is step 6 to make sure that all the agreed upon repairs are done and everything looks good. It's also the time to set up your utilities, electricity, water, internet, and confirm the details for your closing appointment. We'll meet you at the title company on the closing day, and that's where the fun really begins. This is it, the closing day. So what happens on closing day? We just talked about that. You need to bring your valid ID, confirm your wire or cashier's check for closing funds, and get ready to sign lots of papers. Once the funding is confirmed, the home is officially yours. And that's when we celebrate because you're a homeowner. I always like to share stories from clients who have gone through this process just like you are about to. And they started out nervous too, just like you. But with the right support, they were able to buy their dream home smoothly. And it's such a rewarding journey, and I will be with you every step of the way. So that's the complete roadmap from pre-approval to closing day. And you know now exactly what to expect. If you have any questions or want to take the next step, I'd love to help you get started. Here's my contact information again, and don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to help you and say yes to the address. Go ahead and scan that QR code to schedule a call with me. It's absolutely free, and we can discuss your situation in depth. Have a great day. Bye.